Let me begin by saying that the situation we face today is an ugly one. There's no other word for it. And I have no doubt myself that when we're finished, no one will feel good about what we do here today. We need to discuss a resolution from the Senate Rules Committee to suspend one of our own senators. It's not a simple resolution, it is a short resolution. And it has basically 3 pivot points. It suspends Senator Norman H. McAllister from the powers of his office until the charges against him have been dismissed. We cannot constitutionally stop the pay of a senator who is suspended. It is not in dispute that he is charged with multiple felony counts of sexual assault, as well as a range of prohibited activities. And among the 3 alleged female victims is a young woman, Senator McAllister, presented in this building as his State House intern. And it's hard to imagine a more uncomfortable discussion. And yet, today's debate is crucial to our future as a Senate.
Suspension denies Franklin County their right to representation and gives Senator McAllister a paycheck. To do that because it's easier doesn't make sense. It doesn't appear right. It's dangerous for us to start because I think the last thing anyone in this building wants to do, if Senator McAllister is guilty, no way do we want to do something to interfere with the prosecution's ability to successfully prosecute him. If he's innocent, no way do we want to do something, nor should we do something, to interfere with his defense's ability to defend him. We make the law. We don't interpret it.
In this case, I really wasn't planning to speak because I had discussed this with colleagues and we agreed that anything anyone said might be misconstrued to get into the area of the criminal charges. And that no matter how hard we tried to avoid doing that, it might appear that we were talking about the criminal charges. And so my decision at that time was simply to remain silent. However, in the colloquy between the senator from Rutland and the majority leader, the question came up of avoiding the criminal charges, that we should avoid the criminal charges. And the reporter of the resolution said, and I quote, "If that were the case, we would literally have nothing to discuss." So I think the cat is out of the bag on this. This is about the criminal charges, and we should not be dealing with the criminal charges. Governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed. The strength of the legislature is that we are a democratic, lowercase d, institution. We are accountable to the people. That's why we get to write the law. It's also why we don't get to adjudicate. Because adjudication should not be democratic. And that's I know my students have a hard time getting their minds around that. Adjudication is not supposed to be democratic. Jesus was put to death by the will of the majority. Socrates was put to death by the will of the majority. Adjudication is supposed to be based on rules of evidence, and careful procedural rules as we have in the judiciously. I take the accusations against the senator from Franklin, I take very seriously. I think it's entirely appropriate that he's going to stand before the bar of justice in a court. It is the court's job. It is not our prerogative for us to determine guilt or innocence. And if we are not implicitly determining guilt, then we would literally have nothing to discuss.